Hey, what's up, everybody? Right now, we are about to be getting into a segment through KnowledgeBoy Academy, and I'm remote right now, so I'm just making sure that we all are on the same page and get your learning in and understand a lot about royalties. This segment is based off of music royalties. It's important that you get the knowledge. It's important that we're in this together. If you have anything that you want to talk about, please leave a comment, send me a message through KnowledgeBoy page, or however, send me an email, however you want to do it, and we can definitely talk about some things. This is supposed to help and grow us and get us where we all need to be successfully together. To make a better place, we need to be in this together, and to create more opportunity, we have to have each other. So therefore, being said, that's why it's love people first and everything else will handle itself. And I just want to say thank you for wanting to learn and take the step into your career that is major. I mean, anybody that you're able to get anything knowledge from that has no intention or no ill intent, or like there's real people and then there's people. You get what I'm saying? So I just want you to know the difference. And this is where we're going to be able to connect with each other a little bit more and have that camaraderie that we need and community that we need to keep being successful. I know my hair needs to get cut and all of that, but that's what I'm telling you. It's that cut. It's that for real, that like literally you get this. You get the one that don't have to be the clean cut knowledge boy. This is me in the flesh. So this is really what we're going to do.
People all acting right up in your face. It's cool though. Everybody not me, keep it neutral. These days nowhere it's really peaceful.
Yeah, what's up, everybody, man? Welcome to KnowledgeBoy Academy. This is where we learn and grow together, okay? So today we are going to go through what music royalties are, okay? So today we're going to go through what music royalties are. We will also comb through how music royalties work, okay? There are 6 different types of music royalties that are important for you to know about. So we got to get into it, okay? So we're going to start off like this. What are music royalties? And I'm going to try to keep this as simple as possible. We're going into the question of what are music royalties. So music royalties are payments that go to recording artists, songwriters, composers, publishers, and copyright holders for the right to use their intellectual property. U.S. copyright laws give artists these exclusive rights to their work, okay? So if you are a recording artist, songwriter, composer, and have anything to do with the publishing, you are owed royalties. Royalties, in another way, you can just think of it as dollar signs. You can think of it as revenue. And if you living off this is residual income. This is things that you can have complete whole hand into and what you deserve to have. Again, I'm going to say it again, and you're going to hear it throughout what we're doing right here today at KnowledgeBoy Academy. What are music royalties? Music royalties are payments that go to recording artists, songwriters, composers, publishers, and copyright holders for the right to use their intellectual property. U.S. copyright laws give artists these exclusive rights to their work. Okay, so that's what that is. So if you have any understanding, or if you don't know what you're owed or what royalties that you need to know about, this is the time to make sure you do your homework. Again, I am knowledge boy, meaning I'm always a boy of knowledge. There's always more to learn, right? There's always more to grow from. There's always a lot to understand, okay? And there is so many things when you are a recording artist, and if this is your job and this is not a hobby, well, you have to take this seriously. This is your many streams of revenue. And to know that there are 6 different types of royalties, to get your eyes open, wide open, like, wow. Okay, that means there's 6 different ways I have money coming in. I mean, wow. And all you did was put out one song. You feel me? So that's why it's important to know what's going on here. So let's jump into it. I will be putting this down in the description. You can go through it, follow along, however you want to do it. Okay. But there are 2 types of music rights. Okay. So you have your master versus composition. So whenever you record anything, you have 2 distinct sets of music rights attached to it. Okay. No matter what. whatever you record in life, no matter what, no matter how, you have two versions of something that is one. Okay, so 1 + 1 = 2, right? Well, this just equals 1 because one part doesn't go without the other. Okay, so excuse me. So if you have ever recorded any piece of music, there are two distinct sets of music rights attached to it. Okay, one is composition. Okay, let's start there. So the composition will always be songwriters and their publishers who own the copyright for the harmony, melody, and lyrics. Okay, so just when you think about the composition of the beat, when you think about the lyrics that's written before anything is spoken, there is a process before recording a song, right? And that's the writing, that's the production, right? That is putting together the elements that you want to perform through the microphone before you do it. So you are prepared, okay? So that's the composition. So songwriters and their music publishers own the copyright for the harmony, melody, and lyrics. Composition copyright is obtained wherever an authentic and unique musical work is committed to a tangible medium, whether it's a notepad, sheet music, or even a single tweet. Okay, that means literally it's copywritten basically automatically when you have a tangible medium to it, whether it's a notepad, sheet music, or even a single tweet, because of the composition copyright. Okay, now let's go into the second part of this distinction, because remember I said when you ever record any piece of music, there's two different things: composition and master. Okay, and they're both important. And if you understand the difference, then when you look at music or when you hear anybody in business talk about certain things, you understand exactly what to think about, because it might be talking about composition, or they might be talking about master, or they might be talking about both. Okay, but you will know the difference. Okay, so the copyright, so master, number 2, the copyright for the particular expression of a composition created when the composition is turned into a sound recording and owned by recording artists and their record labels, if the caveat, if there's a record deal in place. Okay, so meaning the master is simply everything you took from the composition now, and now since you were prepared with your composition, so now we're talking since you have the beat laid out, since you have the lyrics written out, since you know how you kind of want to go with the harmonies. Okay, now you pulled up to the microphone and you like, okay, I'm ready to record. Turn the music up. As soon as you voice activate your vocal into that recording and it's stopped, and say after it's done, after it's mixed and mastered, now you have the second part of this distinction, which is your master. Okay, and that is the sound recording. That is the composition, part 1. That is you taking part 1, and now you turn part 1, the composition, into a sound recording, and it's owned by recording artists or their record labels. Period. At the end. Now you know the distinct difference. The composition is easy. Again, it is the harmony, melody, and lyrics. Just think about the beat. Just think about the vocals. Just think about the lyrics. Okay. The master is simply when that composition is turned into a sound recording out of your mouth. Now you're performing it on a microphone, and now it's been recorded, and now it's been mixed and mastered, and now it's ready to be put out as a song. Okay. So now that is the master. Okay. So that is the two different types of distinction sets within a song of a sound recording. Okay, now I want you to pay attention to this because it's so important. It's going to play a big part and role in when we're starting to understand what royalties are, what they exactly mean, and what are they there for, and how you're able to make complete great extreme revenue if you understand how royalties work. If you understand, you think about it, it's like you go to the store. You get what I'm saying? You went to that store for a reason. They didn't know that you were going to come there that day. You knew you were going there that day, right? So that means that literally, think about it. No one knows the song you're going to put out. You know the song you're going to put out. So you need to know where all your rivers connect into the ocean. You need to know where your streams of revenue is coming from. And when you pinpoint that, then you know what to follow. You know what songs does better. You start looking at analytics. You start looking at the metadata, like, okay, this works, this didn't work. And this is how you shift your position. And this is how you get into the money. Okay, so let's go forward. So there are 6 different types of royalties. Okay, So we're gonna start off with streaming royalties and what that means. Okay, it can get kind of confusing. I'm just gonna bypass a lot of this stuff. I don't want to get you hooked again. I don't want to get you hooked on one side of this because it can get kind of confusing real quick, especially if you are a beginner of understanding what this stuff really means to your benefit. But in reality, let's start with number one. So streaming royalties. Okay, this is the first type of royalty that you can be. This is the first type of revenue that you can be having sent to you as an artist or as a label or as someone that's beginning and don't have a know-how or whereabout, because there's so many different types of information being brought out to you. Okay, so the number one thing is streaming royalties. Okay, so that's simple. So I'm just simplifying it for you. Streaming royalties are payouts for digital streams. Okay, period. I'm gonna say it again. Streaming royalties are payouts for digital streams. That's it. Okay. So, let's rate a little bit here. The rise of streaming services has made royalties more important than ever for recording artists, which is true. Okay. Where once music was primarily monetized by selling records. Okay. Which, again, we're not selling vinyls anymore, CDs anymore, cassettes anymore. Okay. They stopped that a long time ago. All right, period. It seems like a long time ago nowadays. Okay, so but these days recordings are licensed to streaming platforms, and payouts for digital streams are therefore royalties. Do you understand that? Okay, so since there is no more like Best Buy or like record stores and stuff where you specifically got your CD and you pop that into your cassette tape, or you pop that into your CD player when you jumped in a car, or your Walkman, however you want to look at it. That's no more. If anything, that's all vintage stuff now, right? So now we're into the 2020 days. This is the new way, since now there's streaming platforms, DSPs, digital service providers such as iTunes, right? That's been around forever, Apple Music, if you want to call it that, Spotify, you have Amazon Music, you have Tidal. So now streaming royalties are simply paid out from digital streams because now there are digital platforms, if that makes sense. It's simple. Okay, so literally streaming royalties are payouts for digital streams, period. Okay, so we're gonna move along here. Again, if you want to get deep into this stuff, which I advise you to do your own homework after listening to anybody, so then you have a deeper understanding, because everybody learns different, and you reading one word can make the difference of me saying anything. That's why we're growing together. You get what I'm saying? So going forward here, neighboring rights and royalties. Okay, so it's called neighboring rights for a reason. Okay, it's actually a neighbor to public performer royalties, and I will get to the difference between them soon. I just don't want to hang you up because it's going to come up again. But just know that neighboring rights and public performance royalties are similar. That's why one's called neighboring. Okay, so neighboring rights is simply this. There are royalties paid out to the musician or owner of master when their recording is performed or broadcasted anywhere. So that's a restaurant, a venue, radio, TV. You get what I'm saying? So any of those things. Again, I'm going to say it one more time. Neighboring rights, royalties, right, are payouts to the musician or owner of master when their recording is performed or broadcasted anywhere. Okay? Period. So again, now I remember when we first started this, remember I told you to remember two things of when a song is recorded. There's two distinction sets. There is a composition side, which includes the melody, lyrics, and harmony, right? And also whatever publishers that you have within that. And then you have a master side. Okay, and that is now the composition that you took part one, and now you made it into a sound recording, and that is what makes the master side. So it specifically says in here, royalties for neighboring rights are paid out to the musician or owner of master. So it's not talking about the composition. It's talking about now master only. Okay, master when they're recording is performed or broadcasted. So it's saying anytime you hear someone's voice and sound or song in a store, at a venue, at a restaurant, at a bar, you're sitting outside just eating, you know what I'm saying, you just went and had a little lunch and there's a little song in the background at that is certain restaurant or, you know, place of sit down coffee shop, I would say. That means that those are actually neighboring rights accumulating. Like literally, those are neighboring rights being paid out, royalties being paid out to whoever owns the master, which if that is the artist, if he's independent and he has that, or if it's through a label, regardless, they are getting paid out neighboring rights. Okay, period. So let's go forward. We're going to go now to digital performance royalties. Again, if I'm going too fast and if it's not making sense, I'm literally just simplifying things, and anything else that you want to learn or anything that you feel like I have not touched on, please leave a comment or do more research on your own. So then you know exactly what is really important to you, which I feel like every little thing is important. If you're able to learn it, learn it. You get what I'm saying? So let's go forward though. Number 3, digital performance rights. Okay. So this is where it gets kind of interesting. Because you have to understand these differences because there is so fine line, but it's so simple too. For digital performance royalties, they knock out AM and FM radio. Okay, so you don't get paid out digital performance royalties in the US from it being played on an AM or FM radio. So that's if when you go to your car, you turn on your AM or FM radio, say if you didn't have satellite radio or, you know, you're not up to date, you in a 2002, okay, and you happen to hear KnowledgeBoy song Hottie Baby come on or whatever, and you're like, wow, dang, this song's popping, he must be getting paid money from that. No, I am not getting paid no digital performance royalties from that, because if it's on AM and FM in the US, they do not count that as a royalties. Now, the caveat to that is, but you do get digital performance royalties from digital internet radio, satellite radio stations, and cable radio. Okay, they do pay masters to the owners. Okay, period. You have rights there, period. So if you hear your music on, I mean, that's when you need to do some research to see literally where you popping, so you're able to know what's going on. But and it's a hard thing, especially if you're not doing research. But again, you have digital internet radio that will pay you out, satellite radio, which is like Sirius XM, all of that, and then you have cable radio, and that's where your payouts come from, digital performance royalties. So what is digital performance royalties? It's payout. So digital performance royalties are payouts from digital radio, satellite radio, and cable radio. Simple as that. Okay, period. The digital performance royalties are payouts from digital radio, satellite radio, cable radio. Okay, that's somewhere in here. Let's see here. Here we go. Yep, boom. Okay, and as you can see here at the top, if you already was reading it before, you know, US rule out not having to pay sound recording owners for radio play, applies only to AM and FM terrestrial radio. Okay, so that's that in the pudding. Okay, now we're gonna move on to number 4, and that's gonna be sync and licensing royalties. Or if you see sync and licensing fees, it all will be, you know, coordinated to each other. Okay, now for this is my jam right here. I would say for anybody that's a recording artist, this is something to look forward to. No matter what you do, if you're a producer, if you're a recording artist down to an engineer, anybody, you know, you want to get your music synced and licensed, man. If you have that opportunity, you know, take full advantage. Now, I mean, there's all different types of sync licensing deals, so I will say be careful when it comes down to that. You want the best deal possible when it comes down to that, but at the same time, there's so much success and exposure, and two, you're not the one with the budget. This is coming from people who need your music and they have a budget. You get what I'm saying? So you have a wiggle room and negotiation room. If they're saying I want this, you're saying, well, this is where we're at, let's make a happy medium. You know, you have control, and they need it fast. Okay, most times they need it so fast because there's so much to do in the last. And the biggest thing is music. You know, music is the world's leader. There will always be music. There is no, I don't even know. There's like not even sound without music, you know, whether that's hearing trees blowing or whatever, there's always music that you hear. Okay. So, but more importantly, anytime you hear a video game, TV, movie, TV shows, video content on like YouTube ads, anything you hear in the background playing, all of that stuff, man, that is sync licensing fees that are being paid out, and these people are having a residual income, and it's massive depending on the deal that they have, depending on the company. If it's EA Sports in the game, it's a FIFA, if it's Nike, if it's whatever the case may be, if it's a major Gary V, and he's just happened to play your song on the intro of his podcast or seminar or event. You get what I'm saying? It's so many different outputs and inputs and streams of revenues and ins and outs of what you're able to do. There is nothing that should be holding you back for being successful within this industry. That's what the only thing that make you not successful in this industry is the knowledge you have in this industry. If you are having little knowledge but are popping, that is the wrong way, because you need to be having more knowledge so you pop for life instead of popping for a second. Okay, so sync licensing fees. I'm going to say my version before explaining their version. Sync licensing fees are payouts made to master and composition owners. Lynn, I'm going to say that again, but listen to what I said. Master and composition, okay? So sync licensing fees are payouts made to master and composition owners. Even when music is synced to video content ads, TV shows, movies, video games, etc. You get it. I mean, you've heard it so many times. Anything you hear in movies, man. I mean, that if it's for independent artists, man, this is your holy grail. This is your bread and butter, man. You find a short film company or anything that wants your music and you have a great catalog, and say, I mean, these people, they want moods, say happy. So say if there's a happy scene in there, but say if it's a sad scene, say if it's a weird scene, they want producers, they want vocals, they want all of that, and they want you to know your rights. They need the proper information from you in order to do that. Which, if you have an explicit version, they need a clean version, they need the instrumental track, and they need the acapella without the instrumental behind it. You get what I'm saying? So those are 4 different things right off the bat that you need to have access to, and that's why it's important for you to learn more about sync licensing fees. I'm telling you, people get 10,000 upwards a month. I'm sorry, a week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. However they are getting paid out, they are getting paid, period. If there's $100,000 a week, whatever the budget is for that place, and say if you got like 7 songs and sync the license, and man, you're able to build a rapport with companies now because they trust your music and now they want that music regardless. So that's why building relationships are very important. Again, sync licensing fees are payouts made to the master and composition owners. When music is synced to video content, ads, TV shows, movies, etc., video games, all of that good stuff. It's amazing, man. You need to really know what's going on with that. Right now, we're pulling up to public performance royalties, and that's going to be number 5, almost to the last one for sure. So we're doing good. But so public performance royalties, simply said, they are payouts collected when a song featuring a specific composition is played in a commercial environment. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. Public performance royalties are payouts collected when a song featuring a specific composition is played in a commercial environment. Okay, so anything that you hear being actually performed in public, there are payouts, royalties that are important for you to get paid from. The dope thing about this, I'm going to stop here, okay? Because there's a couple things I've talked to you earlier when we were talking earlier about public performance royalties. I just touched on it. I said I didn't want to talk much about it because we were going to get it later in this segment. But now I'm going to stop here and we're going to go forward, and I'm going to let you know that the cool thing about public performance royalties is if you have a pro, you are good. Okay, so if you have a PRO, That stands simply for performance rights organizations. Okay, now this is where we need to stop everything. If you don't know what a performance rights organization is, that means you have to do some dang homework, man. That means that you need to get your ducks in line. That means you need to do it so then you can actually retain the money and have value in what you do and not be behind and have people taking what is yours. Okay, I mean, if you seriously are doing this, it's important to seriously do it. Okay, so performance rights organizations is what PRO stand for. Simply pros. Your pro would usually handle making sure you retain your public performance royalties here. Okay, and if you don't know, there's 3 main here in the US, or that people use, and that is ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC. Okay, now I'm a part of BMI. They all have different benefits and beneficials, as companies do anywhere in the world. Like, you may go to Super America gas station, or you may go to Quick Trip, or you may go to Holiday. That's up to you, right? So that's the same thing. So ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC, the same thing. You need to do your homework and see what works for you. I think I used BMI because of my publishing. I am the owner of my own publishing. And if you want me to talk about how do you become the owner of your own publishing and all of that stuff, which you can look stuff up and get knowledge as well, or leave it in the comment section, and if that's something you want me to create a video off of, I will as well. Whatever. It's up to us. That's what I love about this. Again, you have 3 pros: ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC, and they get this literally for you. I mean, it's ran through them. So say before you go to a venue, they usually need your set list. You get what I'm saying? They need to know what's going on. And then what they do is they send that out to the companies. You get what I'm saying? They send that out to the pro, which is your performance right organization. And then that's how they make sure that they are protected. One, that wherever you're performing at, it's protected on that side, and also that the payouts are going specifically to the right person for that performance being made and performed. So with that being said, that's why it's important to understand what your rights are. Your public performance royalties are also a neighbor to neighboring rights. Do you know why? Well, again, you remember earlier when I was talking about neighboring rights and how there's 2 versions of a distinction when it comes down to your sound recording. Okay, there's a composition side, which is the melody, harmony, and lyrics, and it has to do with your publisher if that's involved. Okay, and then you have the master side, which now is the composition made into the master, because now that composition from paper is a sound recording. Okay, so now from it developing to a sound recording, that is what makes that whole entire thing a master. The neighboring rights was based specifically off of the owner being paid out for the master. The public performance rights here is based off of the rights owner being paid out for the composition. That's why it's neighboring rights to the public performance rights, because the neighboring rights is based off of one, which is the master, and the public performance is being based off being paid off for the composition. So that is the difference of that, and that's where the neighboring rights comes into play. That's why it's a neighbor. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the last one, but not least, number 6, and that's gonna be mechanical royalties. Mechanical royalties is paid out anytime a user chooses to play a specific song on demand, forcing reproduction of the underlying composition. I love this one. Okay, easy. I'm gonna say it one more time. Mechanical royalties are paid out anytime a user chooses to play a specific song on demand, forcing reproduction of underlying composition. Okay, now let's stay here for a second. Back in the day, right? I'm young, but back in the day when I was young, when my mom, having cassette players inside of her car, you know what I'm saying? And I remember my grandma having vinyls, I remember everybody. I remember people that got vinyls down, you know what I'm saying? So literally, but it's different now, obviously. So I guess that don't count. But here's the thing. Back in the day, mechanical, listen to that word, mechanical. Okay, so mechanical royalties was based off of physical things. It was based off the physicality of actually making a cassette tape, right? Vinyl, like making a vinyl, having vinyl, selling that particular vinyl, selling that particular CD. But it's changed now. It is no longer like that. Now you have to look at mechanical royalties specifically different, way differently, completely differently. It's shell shocked the world, because now mechanical royalties is simply this. Because now, since of DSP streaming platforms such as iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, all of those things, now these royalties are specifically counted when a specific song is pushed and played. So say if you went to KnowledgeBoy on iTunes and you pushed a song that's called Power by KnowledgeBoy. Okay, you're like, yeah, she's so in love with the money, I'm so in love with the power, right? Like, and so you push this song. Well, every time you single-handedly push that song, that creates a mechanical royalty to that specific artist. If he or she owns their own music and it's not through a label, they will have that mechanical royalty counted. If it's owned by a label, regardless, it's still mechanically royalty counted. Okay, so again, mechanical royalties are paid out anytime a user chooses to play a specific song on demand, forcing reproduction of an underlying composition. So anytime you press any song anywhere on any streaming platform, mechanical royalties are being paid out. Period. The end. That's how simple that is. That's the new age of 2020 and so on for now. Okay, I'll make sure I put this up here for you too. Anytime a user chooses to play a specific song on demand, forcing a reproduction of underlying composition, the streaming service pays out the mechanicals. All right. The caveat to this is that means Pandora is the only non-interactive streaming service, period. Because, you know, with Pandora, you just choose a station or whatever, right? You don't actually press the song that you want to hear. It makes a station around that song, and then it creates its own little set list, right? So therefore being said, so Pandora, you would not ever get paid mechanical royalties unless that gets changed somehow in the way they operate their system. But since they're built that way and that works for them and that's their niche, you know, I don't know. But in the future, we never know what that might hold. Okay, so again, that's how simple that is for mechanical royalties and royalties in general. I know this was just a lot of information, but this is what it's about, to be loaded upon. It comes a point to where, you know, there's so much information that you have to learn it. Like, you have to learn it. You know, it's on you. But at the same time, I mean, there's so much you can teach others and stuff that they just don't know. You know how many people make incredible music and have no idea? I mean, just imagine. Let's just make better choices, and let's do this together. And if you have anything that, you know, you want to be talked about or that you want to say, leave a comment, and I'll make sure to, I'll put your comments up in the videos as well to make sure you get showed love. Again, we are in this thing together. It's love people first, and everything else will handle itself. So welcome to KnowledgeBoy Academy. Again, this is where we learn and grow together. And thank you so much for tuning in and staying with me for the duration. Leave a comment, say something sweet, say something crazy. We in this thing. All right, I love y'all, man. Talk to you soon. Yeah, what's going down, y'all? So I'm definitely excited. If you made it all the way through the segment, I'm proud of you. Thank you. And I want you to continue to grow and understand music royalties. They are so important. There's so much wiggle room and so much great things that come out of the things that you appreciate when you understand what they are. And I feel like a lot of us is misled by what we don't know, and that's why when we throw what we can know in there, people start thinking differently, they operate differently, and it's actually interesting, you know. So therefore being said, again, I just want to say thank you and keep your knowledge up, and leave a comment in the comment section. And if you have something to say that's cool and add it onto the conversation, I would definitely screenshot that and put your comment up in the next video and tag you in it, and make sure that, you know, you're showing the most absolute love. So again, thank you, and I appreciate every little thing. Talk to you soon. Let's go.
Now the boy up next. Ocean view feet wet. Now this boy trend set. I'm getting my bands fat. I walk to the bag check. Got all of my jam packed.